Alright, so it's been about a month or so since I did a upload on my fish channel. Mainly due to the fact that nothing really much has happened that really warrants a upload. So my baby angels are doing just fine. I moved them to a 5.5. Normally I'll keep them in the 10 gallon a lot more longer than I have, but the parents decided to spawn, so I had to move them into a different tank. And this was the only tank I could free up at the time, and they're doing great. They got quite big. They're about a month old, give or take, and they're doing just fine. They're slowly growing, so it's going to be a few more months for me to figure out what they actually are going to truly look like. I also moved my one of my bed is into the 2.5 in my bathroom. Also, I was initially hoping to take this tank down because I really don't notice it that much, but since I had to free up this tank, I had to move the bedders around, and having this tank up at the time was turned out to be a good thing in the end. So there's just one little bed and three guppies in here, and one very fat guppy right there. Holy crap, fat guppy. Next thing I want to update on is the two five, not five, but the two 10 gallons in my kitchen. I just woke these two up from sleep, so the fish are still kind of in the sleep mode. But I have my one Pinoy in here. I moved this one from the tank that's in my bedroom to this one because this one likes to hide a lot. And since this was nicely planted out and whatnot, he has places to hide. I also have my white betta in this particular tank too, though I don't know where he is. He's most likely sleeping somewhere. Give me a second to find him. He is right there. That's where he tends to sleep and stay for the most part, or at least when he's sleeping. When it's daytime and whatnot, he's out and about doing whatever. He leaves the Pinoy and the Koi alone. Everyone knows their place, including the guppies. Then I got this 10 gallon right here, which is housing more or less my female bettas, or what I hope to be all female. I put, like I said, hopefully they're all female. I haven't noticed anything that says otherwise. I do notice a few are a bit fat and chunky, which goes to prove my point that there are at least a few females in here. A few of these are relatively big bettas too. I also have guppies in here too, but they're again mostly sleeping, so there's only just a few on the top and the rest are down at the bottom. So I'm not able to really properly show this tank off, but you get the general idea of how this tank's doing. And of course, here is the parent tank to the baby angels in the 5.5. They did spawn like I stated initially, but that spawn did not work out in the end. I moved them to that tank before I figured out that the spawn they did wasn't going to work. They spawned again, but it didn't work. Basically, the eggs were duds. So hopefully it'll take a little bit more time before they do another spawn again. They have this to spawn on, and they also have this to spawn on too. And I gotta clean the tanks. I gotta clean the substrate and whatnot again. And of course, my 20 long is also still housing all the baby, well, not all the baby bettas, but still a good chunk of them. I haven't noticed any fighting yet, so that is good, but they are starting to really show off their colors. A few of them have very unique patterns, like this one right here. I like this one's patterns. There's a few in here that I absolutely want to keep. But a lot of them are also the more basic color patterns you see at normal pet stores. But the few that have the unique color patterns, like this one here, the one I just showed, and a few others, really makes me want to keep them. Then I got this big boy right here. It also goes to, also I'm still amazed I have double tails in this spawn, because again, I didn't spawn a single double tail. I don't own any double tails. So me getting a few double tails out of this spawn is quite amazing. Now, of course, the camera off, focus on the poor little thing, that would be nice. So yeah, I'm quite impressed with this spawn. And the last thing I want to update on is the koi in my bedroom. They now have a nice new tank, and the autofocus on my camera is hot garbage. Thank God I can go manual at a tap of a button. But yeah, they now have a new tank. It is a 20 high. And relatively speaking, they're doing just fine. There was 4, but like I stated previously, I moved that small one into the 10 gallon because it likes to hide a lot. But the 3 here are doing just fine, though the filters look a little ugly, covered in algae, but what you gonna do? And I also have a heap ton of guppies in this tank. I don't have any actual baby guppies because I'm pretty sure these are all males. Which is kind of what I was wanting because I want this tank to be just a sausage fest for guppies. But as you can tell, not really much has happened. I mean, the really only major thing I got was just a new tank for my baby angels, but that's pretty much it. And I really don't want to upload a video on that. So I'll just end the video here and keep it under 6 minutes.